everyone. I'm Raakhi Rupani, Communications Coordinator for BNI here in the UAE. And today, the member we have on our DNA Spotlight is Devanand. Now, Devanand is a member of the Gazelles chapter, and he actively supports and is the ambassador for the Insomniacs chapter. So let's get talking to him and hear more about his journey here in BNI. Hello, Devanand, or let's say Dev, or should I call you Deva?
Whichever you feel comfortable.
I'll call you Dev. I like the word Dev. So
yes,
many congratulations for being here with us. And thank you so much for accepting to be a part of this interview. Welcome on board.
Thank you for having me around for this little interview.
Sure. So before we get started with any of the questions, we'll let the audience know about who you are and what you do. So tell us about yourself, what category of business you represent, and of course, about your BNI journey in brief.
Yes, I'm a lawyer by profession. I'm a fourth-generation lawyer, and that is the business I know. And I've been a lawyer, and I'm the director of Bestwins Law Corporation. And I represent a category called legal services, family, and personal. So that is what I specialize in. I specialize in personal law. And BNI journey, of course, is a very interesting journey. It started about 10 years back when I went as a substitute, incidentally, to the Insomniacs chapter, instigated by a childhood friend of mine, who is an executive director now. So that is how I landed up in a BNI meeting and got to know what BNI is. But because my category was already there in the chapter, I was inspired to join a core group, and then became part of the core group, and which got launched. The chapter got launched in 2012 February, and I became the first president of the chapter. So that is how the BNI journey started way back.
So 10 years is a very long time, Dev, huh? So that was excellence in 2012, and now it's Gazelles.
Yes.
That's great. So it's been a very long time. And tell us now, let's get started about even your role. You are an ambassador to the biggest chapter here in the region, the Insomniacs. What inspired you to take this role?
Of course, convincing by the national office, saying that, Dave, you have been in different roles in the chapter. It's time for you to grow out of the chapter and do something. So why don't you get into a different profile? So that is how I landed up getting trained in a DC ambassador training. We had a physical training we had a couple of years back, and so that inspired me to get into the DNA role. And fortunately, or interestingly, I got allocated to BNI Insomniacs, which has been a wonderful journey for the last 2 years, more than 2 years now. And of course, it's a bigger challenge because it's the largest chapter in the region, and a lot of members and a lot of new members as well to manage. As an ambassador, I more take care of the new members. So, it's a good challenge to take up with a large chapter. It has been a wonderful journey with Insomniacs. And remember, that's the first chapter I attended as a substitute.
Absolutely. So back to square one again. You're with BNI Insomniacs. That's amazing.
Yes.
Any key learnings you would like to share with us in these last 2 years as an ambassador?
Yes, I mean, have got a better idea of how the whole system of BNI works, because earlier it has been within the chapter and understanding what is happening, and it's more of business referrals, thank you for close business and things like that. But now you go into a broader aspect of the structure of BNI and how things are taken care of, and especially when you take care of another chapter. Of course, it's very demanding when you have so many members. The number of one-to-one you do is far more, because I come from a platinum chapter, again being an ambassador to a titanium chapter, so it's a large number. directly deal with about 100, 125 members. So it's a good challenge, and it has been a wonderful experience as such. And Insomniacs is a wonderful chapter to be around.
Absolutely, absolutely. 2 years with the chapter. I'm sure you set forward some goals, some vision. Would you like to share that with us? Any vision that you have in mind for Insomniacs? Where do you see?
Remember, in a DNA meeting, asked about a goal about, of course, pre-COVID times. I mean, like in February last year, we were asked, what are your goals to your respective chapters? And I remember talking about, I would like to see Insomniacs as a titanium chapter. That was the goal, and the retention levels above 75%. And down 1 year or so down the lane, we became a titanium chapter, and we still keep a 81% retention of membership. So that is what I think. It's a lovely thing which has happened with this goal setting.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I know we've just met recently, and you've shared this with me, which really truly amazes me. And not many viewers know about this. You are such a fitness fanatic. You've done the International Networking Week Challenge with the biking thing that we had last year. I'm definitely going to link up the video that people can actually watch. It was amazing. Anything that you can tell us about it in terms of the interest or how the viewers can be a part of it?
It's not exactly fitness, of course. We all play badminton, but then it's not exactly the fitness. It's more of an adventure. So what happens, of course, I do off-road driving as a major hobby. I'm one of the senior most drivers, off-road drivers in the UAE. And of course, biking is another passion. So what happens, the International Networking Week last year, few of us bikers in BNI, we all got together and we said, okay, let's have a bike ride of all the BNI members in all the chapters in Dubai. So we all got together and did a lovely bike ride with BNI bibs made by one other member in BNI, and also our national director and the team also could join us in the whole show. And then we had some other, it was a good networking event because we had some other clubs also joining us, members from different brands of motorbikes. They also joined us, and we did a lovely ride through Dubai and then ended it at the Bikers Cafe so that we could have a breakfast together. Amazing. Another weekend BNI breakfast.
That's amazing. I just mentioned, you just told us about badminton and about the biking. Is this something that you do on a regular basis? Anybody who has similar interests, they can join? Like, how does it go?
We don't have a particular group as such, but then we only formed a group at that point of time for us to ride. But I think we should, of course, then we had the challenges of the pandemic. So we, went low on that. But I think now we should look at, having these groups develop so that we should have, BNI bikers group so that we could do rides together, and, it'll be more fun, at least have some BNI branded gear and, ride around town.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you're so multi-talented, and I've just been told that you are also a part of the Road Track Club. So tell us, is there any similarities in both BNI and Road Track that you can share with us?
Actually speaking, I'm a Rotarian now. That is the senior wing. I was part of Road Track since I was 16 plus years old. Actually, Road Track is for university students or people who are between 18 to 30. That's the age group for Road Track. Started pretty early. At the age of 18, I became a founder president of a Road Track club back in India. And so that has been a phenomenal growth. And then I was the head of Rotary for a whole region, which consisted of South Kerala and South Tamil Nadu in India. So that was the Rotary journey. Of course, later I graduated into Rotary. So now I'm a Rotarian. But Rotary, of course, interestingly, was developed something similar to BNI as to have classifications and for business people to meet. And they could, they could network with each other. But that has evolved over the last, it's Rotary is about 116 years old now. So it has evolved into something like more of a social organization. So now predominantly the Rotary's motto is service above self. And they do a lot of wonderful work around the world. And in fact, if polio is eradicated from the face of earth, except 1 or 2 countries in the world, is because of Rotary's efforts. So they have done a lot of this thing. Of course, it has a bit of a networking into it, but it's not as serious a networking organization like BNI.
Yeah.
In BNI, we talk more about givers gain, where Rotary is more about service above self.
Yeah.
That is what it is.
That's amazing. We get to learn so many things on a regular basis. And of course, it's such a good sharing that you've done with us in terms of all your BNI experience. Last but not the least, there's one more question for you, Dave. Any tips that you would like to share with the members? I mean, the new term has just begun, but there are a lot of people who are taking up roles for the first time. People are still considering whether they should take up any role in their chapters or also within the DNA team. So do you think that there is any tips or advice you would like to share with them?
Definitely, taking up roles teaches you responsibility, as well as we call the VCP process. It gives you the first step of it, the visibility, a better visibility. You do have the visibility by meeting every week, but taking up roles in your chapter or in the DNA team, it gives you a better visibility so that it brings in the rest of the two as credibility and profitability. So I think in an organization like BNI, taking up roles and taking up responsibilities gives you a better platform, and you can do better with the giver's gain philosophy. That's what I feel.
Absolutely. I totally agree with you on that. And with that being said, thank you so much for being here with us, Dave. Anything you would like to share with us before we close?
Thank you so much for having me around, and it's a pleasure being part of this organization.
Same, and I wish you all the very best with the Insomniacs and also with your chapter Gazelles.